Welcome to Canine Handler Fitness. This is a podcast for dog sport handlers who want to feel strong, capable, and confident in their bodies. Hi, my name's Liz Joyce. I am a strength and conditioning coach, and I specialize in fitness for agility and dog sport performance. In this podcast, we cover everything you need: strength, speed, mobility, and endurance. All the things to keep you moving, performing, and doing what you love, both in and out of the ring. Let's dive into today's episode. Hey y'all, and welcome back to part 3 of our 3-part mini-series. In part 1, we talked about your upper body and how do you train your upper body differently as an agility athlete in ways that are going to benefit your sport versus general workouts or workout classes that you might be going to. In part 2, we talked about your lower body. What kinds of things do you need to make sure are in the program or the workouts that you're doing so you can excel in your sport? And today we're on part 3 and we are talking about core and integration. I do want to apologize before we really hop in because I did have an oral surgery last week and my talking is just a little under the weather, but we're going to get through all this together. Today, I really want to talk about core training for running and agility more specifically, and why most core programs don't actually prepare you to run better, especially if you're doing agility or field sports or really anything that requires speed, direction changes, and coordination. Today, we're going to hash out why I really want you to be doing core in your warm-up and not just at the end of your workout. We're doing this so that we can pre-engage the muscles before your training, and we're going to talk about what the heck that means. A lot of workout programs include planks and crunches and Russian twists to add some rotational variety, but honestly, these exercises just really are not enough. And why they're not enough is we're going to talk about. And once we talk about how your core actually needs to function when you're running and handling, you're going to understand why these core exercises that are very commonly found just really aren't cutting it for you. And I've even got 5 running specific core exercises, including 3 that you can do standing that you can start using right away. So by the end of this episode, you'll have a checklist you can do to audit your own training and make it more running and agility specific. Let's start here. Your core should be a part of your warm-up. This is not because we're trying to fatigue it. And we're not doing this so that you can get sore. And we're also not doing this so you can feel like you're being really productive. Feeling like you're being really productive without doing things that are productive is not the aim here. What I want you to be doing is waking up the muscles that you want your body to rely on during the workout. This is what pre-engagement is. It's a super cool tool to keep top of mind when you're heading into workouts. So when you lightly activate certain muscles before training, what will happen is your brain is going to find them faster, which makes your body use them more efficiently, and you're less likely to dump load into places that you don't want it. For example, your lower back or your hips or your knees. If the core should be doing the work or should be stabilizing or should be a key piece of the movement, pre-engaging before your workout will help make your brain bring those muscles online. The muscles will be warmed up and firing. I also love to get a really good core burn before I start my workouts because they are a little bit fatigued, and when they get just a little bit fatigued, they're going to burn faster in my exercises, which helps me bring my brain on board and connect with the use of them a lot more effectively. It works like a hot damn. There are some things that we need to think about because when you're running, your core's job is not to bend you into a crunch. Its job also isn't to hold you in a straight line like a plank. Your core's job when you're doing agility or running or handling dogs just period is to transfer force, also control rotation, also create rotation. And lastly, and arguably most important, is to keep you stable while your limbs move fast and your body's going through a bunch of different direction changes. What happens if you don't pre-engage your core is that your body will find stability. It just will likely do it in less efficient ways. Most traditional core programs include things like plank variations, and there are hundreds of them. You're also going to find a lot of crunches or sit-ups, bicycle crunches, although those are some of my faves, Russian twists. You might find some med ball slams, and none of these are inherently bad. Actually, I'd say the more core you can do as a general rule, probably the better. But there's a bit of a problem here because running doesn't happen on the floor. And it also doesn't happen when you're standing and throwing balls down in front of you. It also doesn't happen when you're hanging from a bar and bringing your toes up to the bar. Running happens when you're standing on one leg at a time with constant rotation through your torso and while your arms and legs move in opposition. So even when rotation is included in core programs, and hallelujah for that, it's often done in a seated position, like Russian twists, which remove the relationship between your core and your pelvis and your legs, and that's really where we need it to be working its very best. And if you train your core mostly lying down or seated, but you expect it to perform dynamically when you're standing and running, there's just a mismatch between what you're training and what you want in competition. Like we say in dog training, you are always going to get what you train for. It's the same thing in fitness. You will always get what you train for. I want to run through this running core checklist. I think it's really helpful for you to understand what your core needs to do to help make you run your best and perform your best on the field. So when you're running, when you're handling, your core needs to be able to, number one, brace. What does that mean? Bracing is your ability to create stiffness through your trunk. So just a stiff, tight trunk, so force can travel from the ground through your body and forward. Bracing is your ability to hold a stiff trunk position. You also need to be able to resist extension, or this is called anti-flexion. Flexion is when your ribs flare forward and your lower back arches. And when you run, there's a constant force that's trying to arch your lower back. That is just how humans move when we're running. And your core must resist that so that you don't collapse into your spine. Your core being able to resist that is also going to make every stride of yours a lot more powerful, plug energy leaks, and also make you more efficient. The third thing it needs to do is to control your rotation, or like anti-rotation, you could think about it too. Running is a rotational movement. Your arms and legs are moving in opposition to each other, your shoulders are twisting, and your core doesn't stop rotation, right? But it does need to control and time it. How all that coordinates upper body, lower body has so much to do with your abdominals, and that is a really key thing that needs to happen with your body. It just improves the coordination of a person's movement just so much. The fourth thing that we really need to do is transfer force between your upper and your lower body. Like we've talked about in previous podcast episodes, your arms are there to help be an accelerator for how you're moving. And the faster your arms go, the faster your legs go, things are moving in sync. Your arms here are not just passengers. They are an active part of how you're running. And efficient running relies on your trunk being able to connect your arm drive and your leg drive. Lastly, you need to be stabilized on one leg. Running is an activity that's only ever done on one foot at a time. It's a series of single leg balances over and over and over and over again at speed. Most programs and most workouts that you might gather in fitness classes will include a lot of bracing, right? We talked about that. That's one of the things we want. It also is going to provide often some flexion, which are crunches. But remember, what we want for running is anti-flexion, so it's the opposite of that. And what is often missing is standing anti-rotation and single leg core control, and also core work that connects your arms and your trunk and your legs. So all this is great information, right? And let's talk now about 5 of the exercises that I love to incorporate and that I encourage you to incorporate, or when you're looking for programs, do they already incorporate these specific movements? They're going to train your core in the way that running actually demands it. The first one I love so much is a standing peel-off press. So this is a fantastic exercise for anti-rotation. It's also great for those of us who are heading into coming of age, cougar puberty, perimenopause, menopausal. It's common to have shoulder pain. This is a sub that I use for side planks too, and it works really, really good. So what you do is you're standing upright with your feet hip width, or you can even do these in a split stance. Then you're going to press a band or a cable straight out while you're resisting the rotation. So the band's to your right. When you press your arms out, you're going to have straight arms, and you're going to not let your body or shoulders twist. And it teaches your core to stay organized while force is trying to twist you, which is exactly what happens when you run. And this is also why we want to start with our feet side by side and then move into a split stance, varying the foot that's forward. So the band's on the right, you want your right foot forward. And then as you get better at it, you want your left foot forward. Secondly, these are so good, a split stance or even a single leg cable or band chop. So what this looks like is you have one foot cable or the band diagonally across your body. This is going to integrate your core, hips, upper body all into one coordinated system. And as you get better at it, you're going to be only on one leg, which really is so fantastic for all y'all. The third one is a marching dead bug. So this is one that we're going to be thinking about in a running pattern. So emphasize and think about how this is going to transfer to a running pattern. And it is done on the floor, but it earns its place. Just because it's done on the floor doesn't mean that it's all bad. Just what you want to avoid is only doing exercises that are done on the floor. So what this looks like is you're going to be on your back with your knees and feet up, and your opposite arm and leg are going to be moving away from your body. And I want you to think about heavy ribs at the bottom and pulling your pubic bone towards your belly button. So you want to think as your arm and leg are dropping out that you're increasing the pull of your lower back or the pressure of your lower back towards the ground, not necessarily touching it, but in that motion. This is going to help you build this cross-body pattern of strength that is going to show up so beautifully for you when you're running. The fourth one is a standing march, but with some band resistance. So you can put the band when you're first starting around your midsection, or when you're more advanced, hold it overhead. If it's overhead, you want straight arms. You want to be just slow marching with a really tall posture. So before you do this, you want to think about getting your core engaged, pulling your hips under a little bit if you need to, but really engage your abdomen. And then think about, as you transfer from one leg to the other, about how your abdomen's helping to stabilize you. It's going to challenge your core to stabilize while one leg is unsupported, which really, oh my gosh, think about this. It looks a lot like running, but done in slow motion. And the last one is a suitcase carry. You got a one-sided load. It could be anything. It could be a gear bag. It could be a dumbbell. It could be a kettlebell. What you want to do is walk in a straight line without leaning. And this is going to help you build lateral or side-to-side core strength and teach your body to resist side bending while you're moving, which is huge for running efficiency. How you'd advance this one is take a heavier weight. You can also take longer steps here too. You could also drive your knee up while you're walking. This is going to help you connect with your obliques and the sides of your abdomen to keep your body in an upright position, which transfers so beautifully to you being able to control movements and changes in direction on course. So here's your takeaway. We want your core training that you're doing to actually improve your running, and especially for agility, but it needs to reflect how your body actually moves and the things that you need from it. Remember, you're always going to get what you train for. The key things that your core needs to do as a running athlete and an agility athlete, a dog sport athlete, is brace, resist extension or flaring of the ribs, arching of the back. It needs to control rotation, it needs to transfer force from lower to upper, and it also needs to be able to stabilize you on one leg. Most programs or workouts that you're going to grab have a ton of floor-based work, which obviously has its place, and also flexion-heavy movements, crunches, sit-ups, ball slams, toe to bar. All those things are flexion-heavy movements. But what you may need to add to what you're already doing or seek out programs that include standing anti-rotation and also single leg core control, cross-body patterns. And it's really important, y'all, that you're doing your core work in your warm-up to pre-engage the system. It's not necessarily about doing more core, but it's about doing the right kind and at the right time so that your running feels smoother, stronger, and more connected. If you found this helpful, I want you to try adding just one or two of these exercises into your warm-up this week and notice how your body feels during your workouts. And if you want help building this into your training in a way that fits into your sport and for your body, you know where to find me. Thanks so much for being here with me today and choosing to spend this time investing in yourself. I hope you feel encouraged to take action. Even the smallest steps forward will add up in ways you cannot even imagine yet. If this episode gave you something to think about or lifted you up, please share it with a friend. You really never know who might need these tools today. For more information, practical tools, and resources to help you get stronger and confident both in and out of the ring, head on over to caninehandlerfitness.com. You can also find me on all the socials under the same name, so come on over and say hi. I'm here to help you build the skills, knowledge, and belief you need to reach your goals. Keep going, keep learning, and most of all, keep showing up for yourself. You've got this, and I'll be here cheering for you every step of the way.